I'm going to tell you the best faction in Albion Online, and it is Bridgewatch, and I'm going to tell you why, and I'm also going to tell you why Bridgewatch is the best town for not only new players, but also experienced and veteran players who choose to play this game for the faction warfare and the royal zones. Let's get right into it. First and foremost, the winning faction is Bridgewatch. If you look here, you can see the population differential. Now, this is on West, but it is the exact same on East as well. Bridgewatch has the most players in it, and that's partially my fault, but it's also one of the better choices. I'm going to tell you all the good reasons why it beats all the other factions. But first and foremost, Bridgewatch simply wins. They win Bandit Assault. They win based on overwhelming numbers and just raw power and organization. They have the best of all worlds. You would think that maybe like, oh, this faction would be more organized, or this one would have more better, powerful gear, but that is not the case. Bridgewatch is just number one in all and every category for faction warfare. They have the most organized Discord, the best shot callers. You got, even if you're a solo player, the biggest blob, so you won't hardly die as much because you're just an overwhelming force. And to the point where people at Bridgewatch's Discord are mad at me because they're saying that I'm making the game too easy for them and they want a challenge. They want me to make a video telling you guys to go to other factions so they can, you know, use their pre-made teams to farm more points so that they can have a bit of a challenge because it's just too easy. Now, think about that for a second, all right? The faction wins so much that they're bored. Bridgewatch is winning so hard that their top players are like, please tell new players to go to a different faction. It's like, well, I'm not going to lie to my audience. I'm not going to tell them to go join a different faction when, like, I play Bridgewatch. Why would I tell my audience to not play Bridgewatch with me? That's just silly. Reason number two is that every mount has an elite version per faction, and Bridgewatch has the elite Terror Bird, which has this magical power called Desert Breeze. You can only use this if you're faction flagged, and what it does is it casts an aura on the ground that increases your move speed, and this stacks with movement speed abilities. It's the most broken of all faction mount powers. What this allows you to do is chase people in PvP when you dismount. This allows you to chase transporters, heart transporters, and you can have a lot of fun and make a lot of silver by ganking transporters with this mount. Out of all the other mount powers in the game, there are none that can compare. If you like look here, like what the Fort Sterling one is defense for 15 seconds. Okay, you have to fight in the circle. You just don't fight in the circle. Okay. There's like all the other powers are pale in comparison. Oh, you got 5%. Oh, I'm disconnecting. 5% healing. It got dark suddenly. What the heck? Weird. Spooky, even actually. Very spooky. Don't know what that was about. But regardless, just in 1v1 combat for solo players and even groups of players, having that movement speed buff is key to catching opponents. You'll notice most faction fights are hit and runs. People run in, they fight, they get low on health, they start running away. Well, Bridgewatch can always run people down and kill them. It's also why they're winning every single fight. I left my island and came back to salvage some of the Twitch drops, and it's bright again. What the heck? Was there a solar eclipse in the game or something? I've never seen that happen. Reason number three is just, it's a simple one, okay? Bridgewatch is the area that you go for skinning, because that's where most of the animals are, but also the animals around Bridgewatch drop babies. You can get Swiftclaw cubs from the saber-toothed tigers, you can get the little stag babies in the tier 4, you know, from the stags, and that's just a bonus to gathering. So obviously this game has taken away most methods to make money these days. You can't just run solo dungeons like you could 3 years ago and make a killing, you know, with lots of money. You're going to have to gather if you want silver, especially as a new player and on East. There's just no other way around it. And the best gathering is obviously skinning. But secondly, stone is really good, especially with the patch coming up. And for those that don't know, Bridgewatch is it's literally super close to Saddle Tor, which is a tier 4 rich in stone environment. Now, this zone, for whatever reason, is not available yet on East, but it will be eventually. I don't know when. But because Bridgewatch is super close to Saddle Tor, and it's the, you know, the capital of skinning, it's got the two best gathering professions literally outside the gates. There's like for gathering, there's no reason not to go stone mining or skinning. Both are going to be top notch in money making. Skinning is always the top, especially like I said, if you get a baby drop. It's also one of the faster runs to Caerleon for transporting purposes, though Limhurst can be slightly faster, but it's more dangerous. That's the thing. Like Limhurst, at least on West, and from what I've seen on East, you can get to Caerleon faster from Limhurst, but it's only by like 20 seconds. But all the PvPers and red zone gankers frequent these areas and not so much these areas. But yeah, also if you're a rat, you're near Astolat, which is an amazing place to rat. So again, just bridgewatch has all the advantages. It's unbalanced. It's super imbalanced. All right. Now I want to give you guys some tips so that you'll be very helpful when applying for bridgewatch and doing bandit events with bridgewatch and all the fun stuff. Let's start with gear. Now, this is gear that will absolutely keep you alive, and let's talk about it. You got the Bedrock Mace. This will knock enemies away and just slap them around, and they will be discouraged from attacking you or chasing you. The Bloodletter allows you to execute people. It also allows you to, basically, if you see someone low on HP, you just have to dismount near them. You can execute them before anyone else catches up to them, and you can loot them of all their stuff. This is the best weapon for faction warfare, especially for bandit assault, to loot other players. Use a Bloodletter, execute people low on health, grab all their loot, and skedaddle. The longbow is super cheap. Just use a flat 4 longbow, okay? You're going to deal lots of AoE damage, and it's also the laggiest spell in the game. I put a video out yesterday where a bunch of people used longbow and crashed my game. So if you want to crash people's games, use the longbow. I'm just kidding. Don't crash people's games. I don't want to crash people's games. SBI, don't ban me. Double-bladed staff. This is highly mobile, super cheap, and it slows opponents. It's a huge leap. You got a run spell. Quarterstaff, same thing. One-handed mace makes you tanky. It gives you extra HP and a jump ability. The one-handed crossbow gives you the caltrops. You can run away at 30% pretty much consecutively. You can just throw them down, and when people chase behind you, they'll run over them, and then you'll run even faster. It's a really good escape weapon. Also good for 1v1s. Battle Axe, super cheap. It's got a run skill. You can attack from range. You can heal yourself. Great Arcane is the Arcane Staff that stops time. So if you see a bunch of enemies approaching, you just cast that. They'll run into the time stop bubble, and then you can run away. Hand of Justice lets you take a bunch of enemies and then move them with you as you attack in a spinny circle. This is really good for positioning a bunch of enemies and clustering them together. It also counts as a movement ability, so you can use it to run away. Cleric Cow puts you in an ice cube, which means if you're about to get meteored and dumped on because a tank jumped on you, you're not going to die. You can cast this when stunned, silenced, everything, and you cannot take damage while in this ice cube. It will save your life, especially when looting dead bodies. You want to have this if you're using Bloodletter, especially. So you run up and you start looting, and then of course the enemy team will be like, oh, kill all the looters, and then they'll jump you, and then you just turn into an ice cube, and then once they spam all their spells, you use some other gear to run away, which I'm going to talk about. Hellion Hood is similar to Cleric Cow, but it just turns you invisible and silences people in the smoke cloud. Soldier Helmet lets you run away better. All gathering gear is absolutely amazing for bandit assault, especially. Make sure you bring gathering gear. I'm talking bring all the best gathering gear you've got, because they help you escape. They're very tanky if you're a gatherer, and they have very good movement abilities, stealth abilities. Assassin Jacket's your basic stealth ability. Sometimes using a flat 4 Assassin Jacket is actually more expensive than using a flat 4 like Lumberjack garb. You just have to check the prices. Mercenary Jacket is a self-healing jacket. You cast this, and you can regenerate a bunch of HP. Soldier Boots lets you use Wanderlust, which is a really good run spell. Demon Boots lets you run away quickly if you are low on health. Undead Cape turns you invisible if you're about to die. Oxes are super tanky and hard to take down. You can set on an Ox while the rest of the team just kills the bandit assault for you, and you can just jump off the mount and touch the grass a little bit, and then you'll get the points. Salamanders, also pretty tanky, and they don't become slow when attacked. So if you and a bunch of people are running away, and they're not on salamanders and you are, well, they will be slowed down and then they will be killed and you will be spared. Yay. Now, let's talk about strategy when doing Bandit Assault. That's the red zone content. That's full loot PvP. That's super dangerous. What you want to do is you want to make sure that you never die. Okay, I know that you may get a lot of points and your set might be cheap, and dying is never okay. You don't want to die, because if you die during Bandit Assault, you will earn less points than if you survived. So always sit in the back lines, never charge the front lines, don't even get on the side lines, because those get jumped too. Just capture points and let other people do the fighting for you while you sit on an ox. Alright, so here's how you should gear. You should always just use flat tier 4 or 4.1 gear. You only need 700 item power to technically participate, and using higher geared items is stupid, because if you die, you suffer a huge loss, which most of the time, gear is not going to save you or make a difference. You're not going to be the one hero in the big blob that kills a bunch of dudes. You're just an ant having a little ant fight every couple of hours. That's all Bandit event is. You're just an insect in a swarm of insects. And yeah, if you have better gear, you can do more damage and whatnot. And of course, if everyone has better gear, you can all do more damage. But at the end of the day, you're just a solo player, and then the other team might be an organized guild or people in Discord shouting at each other over virtual greed and screaming at the top of their lungs because you're wearing a cleric helmet or whatever. So, you know, at the end of the day, you just go in there, you earn your points for yourself, and don't give a shit about anyone else's opinions about what you're wearing or how you're playing. So you want to use the cheapest gear possible, which is flat 4, if you have the item power for it. Also, for capes, don't even wear a cape. Just wear a flat cape. You don't need a faction cape. Those things are expensive. Just make sure that you have at least 700 average item power. To check, all you have to do is you just, here, I'll put on some random gear. I'll just put on that and that. So you open your menu here, and you look at your base average item power. We're at 549, so again, I wouldn't be qualified, but I put that on, boom, I'm at 790, so we're good. So, again, those are high-tier items. So you're going to need at least, you know, boots, helmet, chest, weapon, and cape. Preferably tier 4 or 4.1. If you have no specialization at all, you're a brand new player, 4.1 will get you above. It'll get you like to 800, I think. So, again, it just depends on your gear. You just have to look at that little spot on the menu. Also, don't bother bringing any food or potions, because most likely why are you spending money on this? This is just an event that you go to and you could AFK safely in the back lines and get points. Unless you want to pretend to be some sort of war hero, there's no reason to eat food or use potions. Potions aren't going to save you from being attacked by like 50 players, and food isn't going to make a difference in life or death. Also, if you've ever heard the advice that you should never loot in these bandit events or ZVZs, then that's wrong. You should always loot. That's the whole point of the game. You killed the player. You helped kill the player. Get your damn loot. Why would you follow someone's orders that tells you not to loot? That's the most ridiculous thing ever. They're telling you that because they want the loot, because they are driven by their virtual greed. And even some of these groups try to shame you and say you should donate it. Like they have these little programs that they run on these Zerg versus Zergs that logs everything that you loot. I don't know how they do it. I don't do it myself personally because I don't lead ZVZs, but they'll look through the logs, and when they see someone with juicy loot, you know what they do? They get in the Discord and they're like, "Hey, buddy. Hey, what's going on, man? So I saw that you looted that one thing. I think that Sally and Jesse, you know, they're girl gamers. You should totally donate it to the girl gamers, bro." And they're gonna sit there and guilt you into trying to donate your goods, bro. It's like, no, don't donate. Also, don't let anyone tell you that there are rules to be followed in these zones. Okay, you know, if you're in like a clan or a guild or something and you're doing like an organized thing, it's kind of iffy. I personally wouldn't join those kinds of groups and follow their stupid rules, because the rules are just there to make them more rich and to make them have more fun, not you. You need to care about numero uno, as in that's Spanish for number one, I think. I think that's Spanish. But yeah, you need to care about you and what you find fun. And if you want to serve a guild and suckle on their toes and bend your knee till it cracks, you know, I could probably crack my knees into the microphone. Let's see. I don't know if you heard that, but you know, I can pop my knees because because I play lots of dance games. So there you go, popping my knees for you guys. Anyway, the point is that you should always serve yourself first. Don't let some twerp on a Discord tell you that you can't wear something or you're not allowed to go to a certain zone. You may have heard this rumor about focus fire resistance, and what this is when a whole bunch of players attack one player, they suddenly get this little weird shield barrier that circles around them, meaning that you take less damage than you normally would if you were taking damage from each player individually all at the same time, if that makes sense. So what this means is that if a bunch of flat 4 people attack someone, they're going to get damage resistance. So here's the thing, right? You will be the flat 4 person. So here's how this works. If you were to fight them 1v1, you would surely die. But if you tag them with your attacks, you will get points. Yeah, the person running around in 8.4 items for some reason in the red zone is going to be mad because he could probably 4-shot the guy, but because you and 20 other flat 4 people are attacking them, he can no longer 4-shot the guy. He can probably maybe 6 or 7-shot him. It's not that much damage resistance. It doesn't make them, like, impossible to kill or anything. But for you, instead of killing them in, like, 20 or 30 auto attacks, it would take maybe 35 auto attacks. So your damage isn't being nerfed that bad as a flat 4. But here's the thing. All the flat 4 people attacking the one guy, yeah, it pisses off the high-geared guy, but you're still killing them faster with everyone focusing on them. It's just a way to... the reason it exists in the game is so that you can see what's attacking you before you die. Because players in MMORPGs get frustrated when their health bar goes from 100 to 0. So the whole focus fire thing is just simply a way so you can see your health bar go from 100 to 20%, then to 0. And don't let some uppity rich player, that has fancy titles in a Discord tell you that you're not, you're being a detriment to the team. Who cares? It's a video game. They're not going to remember in 10 years anyway that you and 20 guys auto-attacked someone and gave them focus fire resistance. So let's talk about area of effect escalation, or AoE escalation. That is a game mechanic where if you are casting an area of effect spell, so let me just show you what that is. We're going to use our longbow here, and we're going to cast an area of effect spell. So if I hit a single target with rain of arrows, it will deal a certain amount of damage. But if my rain of arrows happens to hit, like 10 to 20 people, or maybe a little bit less, then it will do significantly more damage to each target. So what this means, you're a flat 4 player, so you're going to die no matter what. If I came at you with this 8.4 masterpiece longbow as a flat 4 player, and even if you were by yourself and I casted this, you would surely die. Now, I don't know about you, but if I'm going to die and lose my gear, I want everyone around me to suffer as much as me. So what this means for you as a flat 4 player, you need to find whoever has a lot of really expensive gear and hug them. I want you to be like sniffing their coattails, okay? Riding their coattails, giving them, just make sure your character is literally right on top of them. So here's the thing though, right? AoE escalation works through Clear Cow. So you cast your little ice block, the 8.3 guy dies, maybe his attacker dies, and you can kind of hang out and loot him. So this is a way of team killing your own faction. That's where I'm teaching Bridgewatch players how to team kill their own faction. What are you going to do about it? What do you think you're going to do about it, huh? You think you could torment me in a Discord and think that I won't make a video telling people to go to Limhurst? I don't think so. This is punishment for your silly, stupid rules. Anyway, point is that as a flat 4 player, you should absolutely go and hang out with all the strong, highly geared players because they'll keep you nice and safe, wink wink. But if worse comes to worse, being next to them will put them in more danger and allow you to get them killed, which could potentially make you super rich. So it's always worth doing. Furthermore, let's talk about healing sickness. This is also another fun one. When you're using your flat 4, if you've watched my previous videos, you should be using some form of a nature staff and spamming as much heals on as many people as often as possible. Even though you have no specialization and your weapon is flat 4, you will have tagged your allies. So if your allies get a kill, you get points. And if they get healing sickness and die, then you get loot. and it's always fun to kill your allies. So I highly recommend spamming as much healing sickness on as many people as possible all the time so that they die a horrible death and don't get the heals that they truly need. Okay, so that's about it for why Bridgewatch is the best faction and how to take the biggest advantage that you can while doing bandit events. So yeah, fun times indeed. I'm sure, hopefully maybe this video will upset a Redditor to make a Reddit post and call me out on some stuff. Man, I miss those threads. Why I haven't been able to make Reddit mad in a long time. I've run out of, like, creative ideas to make people upset. I guess I'm just going to start stream sniping Twitch streamers, so if you want to help me with that, join the Discord. Okay, I'm not a Twitch streamer, it's not against the rules to stream snipe, so let's do it. I'm going to need a whole bunch of you guys to help me do that. You can come in flat 4. You know, if there's enough of us, they'll die regardless. And you can even get the loot. I have plenty of gold, or silver, whatever the currency's called. I've also got 29 referral rewards to claim. You know, each of these are 1,000 gold, so, you know, that's like a couple $100. And then, what is that? It's almost a couple $100. Let's see, 19,000. Yeah, it's like $150 in gold. And shoot, like on West, I already have all my gear. I'm never getting premium ever again. There's no point. Like, what the hell am I even doing? Just collecting items at this point. There's literally nothing left for me to do in this game. But we can stream snipe people that don't like me because you like me and you want to see me, and you too, you know, stream snipe some Twitch streamers. It's what they get. You know, kill the bunny. Boom! Stream snipe, baby. Alright, so I actually tried to film a video before this where I was going to, like, min-max how to do bandit events, and from what I can tell, you basically have to participate the whole freaking hour to get all the points. There's no, like, way to cheat it from all of my testing, but I'm gonna go ahead and show that now, and there won't be an outro because I don't... It's just too much work in editing. I don't really give a shit. Okay, I've made over 500 videos, and why isn't there a new game for me to play yet? I don't understand. Someone buy me Diablo 4. Someone add me to Battle.net and buy me Diablo 4, okay? You gotta be my friend on Battle.net for 3 days. And I can play that in June, I guess. I don't know. It has PvP, non-consensual PvP. You know, that makes the game automatically good. Also, apparently, WoW Classic is doing pretty good, so maybe I'll resub and go to that. Except I'll need a character transfer. That's $25. The sub fee is like 16. That's too much money. I just want to gank Red Ridge all day and make people mad, but it costs too dang much money. I don't know, guys. Oh, Minecraft Legends is in a few weeks. I had a gracious donator give me that game. So if you want to play that with me, join the Discord as well. Anyway, I'm not going to have an outro for this video. It's just going to suddenly end. So, you know, I'll tell you now. At the end of the video, there will be a video on the right side of your screen you should click. Hopefully you remember. Whatever. I'm just gonna roll the rest of the clips. Alright, it's time to conduct a very lengthy experiment. Experiment number 1 is we're going to see how little effort we have to put into the bandit event to get the full credit for it. So what I've done is I've joined the Zerg, I helped capped outpost 1 and 3, I'm waiting for the zone to capture, and then I'm just going to go AFK afterwards. Of course, I'm not going to go AFK in a red zone, that would be silly. And I'm just going to AFK for the remainder of the 55 minutes of the bandit event, while faction flag, just in town, just in a corner, I guess, or something, and we'll see if I get the points for it. Because if I do, oh man, do I have a freaking brilliant idea. Oh, and just for record-keeping sake, we are at 11,894 points. So I will see you guys in 1 hour, and oh boy, let's see if this works. Well, it's been an hour almost. We got 10 seconds remaining, and I've just been harvesting rough stone in Bridgewatch. I've got 388 of them. I didn't spend the entire hour doing this. I just got a little bit bored, and I actually mapped out every single spawn. So there it is. I only got 674 points though for being third place. I guess Bridgewatch did not win that. More testing needed. I need Bridgewatch to be first place to compare. And I am back several hours later with another test, so it looks like we have 8 seconds until the Bandit event ends. I think bridgewatch might be winning this, based on zones captured. It's really hard to tell, but let's see how many points we get. And bridgewatch plays first and only got 577 points. So now we can conclude that you can't do this method. You can't just go capture one outpost and then get the points, so that's a real shame. But if you're curious, it's only worth 1,380 faction points for just showing up to one outpost and then capping it and then going AFK. Real bummer that one is. Now what I've done is about 27 minutes of Bandit events, so just a little bit less than half technically. We're at 8,303 points, and in 10 seconds we will find out if we get the full bonus. From the looks of it, maybe Bridgewatch won this. It's a little hard to tell. But it's, let's see, Bridgewatch plays first, only got 13,000. Yikes. Okay, so even playing for 27 minutes is, it's not enough for the full bonus. Good to know.